Yes.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Summer Championships. We have everybody here, GiveUAnxiety and Kynesie, ready to play their best of 5 for the round of 32. I'm now going to call Zutazuta, who is currently eating ice cream, as he alluded to. That is exactly what he said he would be doing, and lo and behold, he's doing it. Welcome back.
Hey, what's up?
How's the ice cream going?
I'm trying to eat it so fast, but I'm getting there.
I'm so sorry. Oh, I should have given you more time. Oh, I should have told you a bit before. I could have. I had like 10 minutes to tell you, and I chose to tell you 5 minutes before we start. I'm sorry. Oh dear. But yes, this is going to be a good one. GiveUAnxiety and Kynesie, two top level players for sure. Going to be going head to head, and by the looks of it, we do have that Portuguese Kynesie clicking. Well.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
6 ducks. Here we go.
Can't wait. How many ducks do you reckon he makes this game?
Oh well, 6 is the magic number, right?
6.
I don't know. It is Manchuria, so perhaps not that many.
Are these guys going to be playing on Cascade Range at all? I really want to see whether or not Kynesie what he does with those little pawns on that map.
Yeah, and they're not that useful because there's no like home city shipment spawn point, so it's not like you can. It's not like you can even ship sort of boats to those ponds. But
yeah,
I mean the fish could be useful super late game once the hunt runs out. Maybe you have like 2 or 3 extra fishing ships. It could be kind of relevant.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing about that map as well, right? Like, it's low hunt, and so, like, You could find those fishing spots at least somewhat useful at some point, and if there's someone who will find a way to make use of them, it'll be Kynesie.
It's Kynesie, yeah. But unfortunately, Cascade Range is not the map that we will be seeing. It might be in their set. I'm not sure what their maps are, but they know what their maps are. The first map, however, is Manchuria. We are clicking in. Our players are ready. We are ready. GiveUAnxiety versus Kynesie for the round of 32. This is game number 1 in a best of 5 series, spawning on the left-hand side of the map. In the color blue, we do have GiveUAnxiety playing as indeed the British, spawning with between 2 and 3 wood crates. We're about to find out. Saving recorded game does have 1. No, 2. It was hidden by the trees. There are 2 wood crates there. Not a huge deal. I mean, the coin just means he's going to be most likely building a market and buying some wood or getting hunting dogs and all of that stuff. It's not a huge difference either way. But playing as the British, here he is on Manchuria versus Kynesie, playing as indeed the Portuguese, spawning in the north side of the map. This is going to be fun. As I mentioned, both players top tier, and Kynesie Portuguese. That's all I'm going to say. Portuguese.
Yeah. I love the fact that GiveUAnxiety has picked Brits again in this particular matchup. Like, it feels like GiveUAnxiety has been preparing a lot for this matchup, and like just with his Civ choice, like you can tell, like Brits is a Civ that's got like offshore support and really good water, like fighting capabilities, and I wouldn't be surprised to like if he's got like builds prepared to like just absolutely slug it out on water here.
Yeah, I think that's the case as well. I know that GiveUAnxiety and has been preparing quite a lot, actually. I do know that he has been specifically for Kynesie. I know he has... Does Kynesie play Japan as well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like his main sim.
That's it. It's definitely what I... Okay, so I'm 100% sure that I know what I'm... Yeah, he's been specifically preparing against the things that Kynesie does.
Yep.
So, doing his homework is GiveUAnxiety here. And off to a good start already, picking himself up 85 wood as the British. Certainly going to be really quite nice for getting that, getting the upgrade down, which he gets in at 1 minute 22. Nice and quick. And of course, that manor house. Looks like he incorporated that wood treasure into his build, like, absolutely perfectly. Now picking up an extra 50 wood on top of that. But, spent all of the extra wood he found from that big wood treasure right away and incorporated it into his sort of early game there.
And I want to point out that Kynesie like chopped wood for a trading post with Portuguese here as well, so he's going to be aged up a little slow and playing like a little different than his normal style. Like maybe he's going to forego water. Like I don't expect him to forego water, but
no. But if GiveUAnxiety's been preparing for that water style or some it's something in particular that Kynesie's not going to do now, all of that preparation may be null and void. It's worth pointing out that actually Kynesie did find quite a chunky wood treasure as well by the looks of it, 90 wood there, which is certainly going to help him get up that trading post and maybe like the deciding factor of what actually made him go and build it in the first place. No, Pioneers! No, you're wrong, Interjection. Schooners has arrived! Looks like Kynesie is definitely going to be committing to water this game. Has invested an entire card in it, and when you do that, there is really no going back, and you truly cannot go water without that investment either.
Yeah, and I mean we can still point out the fact that the trading post still is going to give him XP. It's going to enable shipments like 700 wood, 600 wood. The normal cards that he wants to send anyways, and he's going to have success on the water. It's just going to come a little bit quicker, so it's not like the trading post is any sort of hindrance or anything like that to his water capabilities as well.
No, I think it's a nice addition. He found the wood for him. It's absolutely, definitely something.
Plus, it's really well split off from the water as well, right? Like, if GiveUAnxiety ever wants to harass that, he's going to have to at least not pay as much attention to the right side of the map where Kynesie will potentially be putting his ships down.
Yeah, it's definitely not vulnerable to ships. It's also having being on the opposite side of the water. If his opponent, if the water's on the opposite side, so any units that are near one or the other are completely at the other end, the opposite end of the other. So that's going for him. It's nice. Both players now aging up to the colonial age, of course. Give you anxiety, as you would expect, switching all these villagers over to wood, going to get some manners down during transition and collect wood for the upgrades and buildings that he wants to make in the colonial age. What do you think he's gonna? What do you think he has planned for Kynesi's water style then?
I just took a look at the decks actually, and Give You Anxiety is fully fitted out to absolutely slug it on water. He's got, as I mentioned, offshore support.
Holy crap.
He's got improved warships. He's even got like rendering plant. Like he is going to 100% play
oil.
he's going to play a long drawn. He's even got fish market. Like he's got every water card the Brit has. Like he's got all of the cards that he needs to fight water. He's got like 5 dedicated Age 2 cards to fighting water, so he is ready to go, and we can see Kynesie not backing down either. He's already got a wall coming up, already got his dock coming up. And honestly, for Brit, like Brit has got the superior deck when it comes to just fighting water. And we'll see whether or not Give You Anxiety starts off by leveraging that fact.
We shall. But Stable going down as Give You Anxiety's first building here. By the looks of it, wants to get a couple of hussars out and have a little bit of raiding presence, see if he can kill a couple of those vills off. Of course, Kynesie really not going to have any military presence. He's committed fully to the water here. Even like just the wall here, like really nicely spotted that he can just put that there because of the way the map is built. You have these cliffs around the water. That's a really, really nice thing to spot and just stick that there. Just a tiny bit of extra defense that's only literally cost you 10 wood. Nearly a full wall. And the cavalry may find it difficult to actually get in here and do any damage at all.
Yeah. One thing that has happened, though, is this second town center for Kynesie has been forced in kind of an awkward spot, too, right? Like, that's definitely not where he probably wants to put it. He probably was hoping to put it down closer to his docks, and unfortunately didn't get that. And, ooh, look at this.
2 caravels! Here they are!
2 caravels already here.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I hope like every single game goes like this, where there's just like big water battles.
Yeah, on this on this patch of water, absolutely.
Yes.
But do you think they're kind of stuck there? I mean, they're not like under pressure from a TC, but if they go back, there's those 2 docks they're gonna have to get past. Or is this a good spot to be in, denying the fishing close to home?
Well, so I mean, he's denied the fishing close to home. I don't know if Give You Anxiety is explicitly scouted these 2 docks.
These calf are completely denied. Oh, they just cannot get in. That's fine. They are stuck outside. But at least, you know, because Kynesie was expecting Cav, at least, you know, he's forced his opponent, at least Give You Anxiety has forced his opponent to build an entire wall, an entire big shell. Has actually brute forced his way through the wall as he's going to go in and go on in there. But yeah, what you were saying about these boats?
I don't know that this has been scouted yet, and 1 caravel has been trained. I assume that means that 2 more are on their way on a shipment. Oh no, they're not. 700 coin.
700 coin. Has that just arrived?
Yeah.
6 minutes 30. The game is 650. No caravel shipment for a while. This 1 caravel, therefore, is a little bit vulnerable if it moves away from these docks. It's sort of going to have to sit next to these 3 giant docks. But Kynesie, Give You Anxiety picking up the explorer kill here. And the game is
paused. Yeah. Hopefully no one dropped. Hopefully I didn't.
Well, I can see all messages. The only person who hasn't. Oh, Kynesie. It is. Are we? Wait, what is the time? In-game time? Yeah, this counts as a drop, and this first game will go to Give You Anxiety if Kynesie does not reconnect. I think that is the case. I'm fairly certain it will be the case. Give You Anxiety will have the option to let Kynesie replay it, but probably not going to see that happen.
Especially not on a water map. I would take my win and run.
Yeah, that is a shame.
Yeah, wow. It's a bit annoying.
That is a shame. Oh, I was really looking forward to seeing Kynesie's water. Oh, no. Oh dear.
Well, that's a bit unfortunate, isn't it?
That is rather sad. It is a best of 5, though. It's not over yet, though. That is a fairly disappointing end to our first game. Give You Anxiety picking up the admin win there.
Alright, well.
Let's head on out of this one.
I'm just going to take a quick state of the game just so I can...
It's too early to decide.
Yeah, it's hard to know. The brick player is actually in a pretty good spot here, but yeah, as you mentioned, it's impossible to... Like, I've seen Kynesie come, like, do weirder things and, and have decent luck with it, but yeah, it's annoying.
What do we do from here? Do the admins want to tell us?
Yeah, that I don't know. It's not my tournament. Kynesie's not even online, so we may even have a situation where hopefully he comes back.
So yeah, we're trying to work out what we do with this. Gaia saying restart Tokyo Internet. Actually, Kynesie's French, I believe. Or is that Dairoga? Probably, yeah. Actually, I think Kynesie's not. Oh, I don't know. I don't even think GiveUAnxiety has the choice to offer the game. I think he just gets the win. I think that's how it works. I don't know how this works, honestly, though.
I asked Mito. He said, ask GiveUAnxiety if he wants to replay, or else he can just take the win.
Yeah, but I don't want to put him in a spot where he's being... If he says, no, I want the win, then everyone will lynch him for being boring. Because that's not...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I don't think he should have the choice. He should just straight up get the win. But again, I don't want to be that guy either. Well, I'm not going to say it. Well, what did Mito say? Oh, you said. Yeah.
Mito said, ask GiveUAnxiety if he wants to replay, or else he takes the win. I'm asking Ryan as well. He just messaged me.
Am I going to put these videos up on YouTube? These ones probably are. If not, they'll be on the ESOC channel, which you can subscribe to by checking the link below this stream. Well, Kynesie's not back yet.
Yeah. I asked H2O as well, and he says he's discussing it. I would assume he's discussing it with the other tourney admins.
Now, I think like a lot of people are just saying, well, nothing happened, just let them replay it. But you know, you can't just say that, because he could have, I don't know.
Like a lot of stuff like could have happened. Like, I mean, I'm not accusing Kynesie of hacking at all. Like,
absolutely
that's absolutely not the case. But what I'm saying is, like, he could have, like, seen, you know, he had sent 700 coin, and now, like, 2 caravels shows up, and, like, all of a sudden, like, maybe I would be better off having 2 caravels or something like that, right? And it's like, now it's the awkward situation where you, like, know what your opponent's build order was, and it's just, like, gets into an awkward situation.
Yeah, and when, like, Kynesie probably 100, probably an honest guy, and that, you know, not the case, and he's not dropping out for that reason, but if you do start giving people, like, the ability to just replay games, that damages the integrity of the tournament, and other people in the future might, you know, look at what happened previously and feel as if they can get away with that.
Some sort of unfair advantage, yeah. 100% agree. But that's also not for... It's not for me to decide. I'm not the one who put forth money for this tournament. I'm not the one who's admitting the tournament, so I'll let whoever
sponsors it make the call, I guess.
Or whoever's running it.
H2O would like to be added to the call, so I shall do that.
Kynesie's back online.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Welcome. Well, that's
Just
a shame.
Yeah, what a shame. Just unfortunate. I just sat down actually and picked a good time, I guess, just because apparently we needed an admin decision.
Yeah.
Kynesie is back online now, so.
All right. Either way, get the game hosted. I'm just talking through a few more things, and then we'll have the official decision. So.
Alright, well, let's get the game hosted, I guess.
Kynesie says, sorry, blackout. with a goofy face. Wipeout.
All right. So interesting enough, I was talking to GiveUAnxiety and some of the admins as well. Double, triple checked with Anxiety, and he actually does not want to take the win. So we will be replaying the first game,
Alright.
Good
which
on
is
him.
really exciting news. I mean, that's great sportsmanship from him, and yeah, so just rehost on the same map, has to be the same civs, and yeah.
Let's make them send the same shipments in the same order that they did. No, we're not doing that, but
Yeah, we can't do that. I mean, that's part of his decision to replay the game. But yeah, I mean, really cool, good sportsmanship on him, and yeah, I'll let you guys get back to it. Thanks for working it out.
cool. Well, we just wasted 15 minutes of our lives. Well, I guess that was fun.
I love that from GiveUAnxiety. Really good sportsmanship from him, honestly. Like, it would be really easy, especially against a player of Kynesie's caliber, to just take a game and be like, no, I want the win. Really good sportsmanship by him he wants to win it. If he wins, he wants to have earned it, and I can definitely appreciate that. So.
Alright, so our players are ready once again, clicking into game number 1, attempt number 2 in this best of 5 series between GiveUAnxiety and Kynesie for the round of 32. I don't know if I've said that for the second time in a row now. I have a problem with repeating my intros like 1.5 times. But, clicking on Manchuria, and we'll see what the crate spawns are this time around. But the same matchup as before, this time GiveUAnxiety spawning in the north of the map. They have swapped positions by the looks of it. Here we have
The old switcheroo.
The switcheroo. Same crate spawn though.
Yep.
Maybe an extra food crate on top of it, but effectively the wooden coin is the same. So perhaps there's similar things here though. We'll have to see if they can pull out some nice big chunky wood treasures. I think both players were going to be fairly happy with the early game of the previous attempt due to the big wood treasures that they found. Both players managed to get themselves a nice advantage. Of course, GiveUAnxiety getting all his villagers back on food a bit sooner, and his opponent Kynesie getting a trading post. We'll see what happens this game. I don't think there are any wood. Oh, having said that though, GiveUAnxiety going for the 85 wood, or at least is going to walk past it. Going to be pretty happy about. Looks like a fairly sort of repeat version of what happened though. I'm not sure if Kynesie is going to be quite so lucky this game.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether or not he'll go with that trading post again as well.
There is a
looks like he's already
treasure here if he comes to find it, but
that's all the way on the other side of the map.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going in that direction at all.
Yeah, and he's already built his house as well, so it looks like he's opted to not go with the trading post this go around, and has instead just elected to go with the more traditional, just probably like 13 pop village up.
Yeah. It's likely. So I guess we're gonna see the same as before, aside from the trading post.
Yeah, aside from the trading post, GiveUAnxiety throwing down the market. Likely gonna pick up hunting dogs. We've just got his hunting dogs researching, so everything looking good for him. And I think we can assume that we'll see a similar deck and a similar build and a similar style out of GiveUAnxiety, just because. He kind of gave away his build in that first game. Although, to be fair, like Kynesie, like because he was the one who dropped. Like it's not like he saw the map at the end of the game as well, right? So he doesn't necessarily know that there was a forward stable and the forward tower and stuff like that. Like obviously he knows Give You Anxiety like sent 2 caravels, but he doesn't. Maybe he didn't see his deck or anything like that as well. So it's hard to know like what knowledge Kynesie had of the previous game going into this next one. So we'll have to see whether or not that plays a factor as well. But for the time being, everything looking fairly standard. 3-Ville is going to come out to Give You Anxiety completely normal, and I think we'll see Schooners again from Kynesie. I think we can expect to see him play that water style again.
We can. I would think so too. But here, a little bit of early conflict between the players explorers of the blue on only 135 HP compared to his opponent with about 100 HP more, 283. Well, more than 100 more. Actually, now got him in hand combat. He could have avoided that. Oh dear, but fortunate. Oh, actually, he's nowhere near his town center. He's near his opponent's one. This is not too good. Looks like Kynesie going to take this guy down, William Cabot, and then head back on over to that 90 wood treasure. So, Give You Anxiety going to be lacking the scouting information as a direct result of losing his explorer. Could be awkward if he doesn't know what his opponent's doing. Plus, not to mention that Kynesie going to have an extra 45 XP from killing this guy.
Yeah, unfortunately for Give You Anxiety, he knows exactly what his opponent's doing. He knows his opponent is going to go on water. He knows.
Well, you still need to scout that dock. Can you really? I mean, like Kynesie definitely is likely to go for the dock, but you're gonna be like, oh, I really need to know, right?
Or
are you so confident?
You can say that, but I like Kynesie is almost like one-dimensional in the fact that like he always plays this turtley style. Like there's people who do like weird stuff, and then there's people who do like predictably weird stuff, and he falls underneath the category of like predictably weird. Like his style is very like anti-meta, but at the same time for him it's like the complete norm, and like I would be more surprised of him not having a dock on a water map than him like.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's something he does almost every game. And again, there's that wall again coming right up, building it across the map. It's such an expensive wall. Holy crap!
Yeah, and that's just like you don't see that out of like anybody but him. And look at the town center place.
Yeah, I thought maybe that would go coastal, but actually, it's in exactly the same spot. Looks like the extra information he's gotten from seeing the 2 caravels Sassoon from Give You Anxiety in the previous game has not changed his decision on the town center placement at all.
No. In fact, everything is like basically mirrored.
Yeah, he's even got the trading post again. Like he's just doing exactly what he did last game.
Yeah, and Give You Anxiety similarly has the forward stable coming down. We see the outpost wagon working its way across to the middle of the map as well. Kynesie dropping down this forward dock in this exact same location. Like everything is literally mirrored. Kynesie 700 wood is the second card. Let's see whether or not Give You Anxiety like sends the very early 2 caravels once again.
Yeah, I think he's going to. Look, that thing has moved. Yeah, he's already got his home city water flag in position. I imagine we'll see 2 caravels any second now, of course. Give You Anxiety. Sorry, Kynesie's shipment was... Yep, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, you can usually expect each player's shipments to arrive at about the same time, and he's already taken out 1 fishing ship, and maybe he's going to get the second. That thing hasn't been told to go inside the town center or the dock just yet. 2 fishing ships down. This is definitely very relevant at the moment.
Yeah, and Kynesie didn't notice it right away as well, which is a little bit of a mistake, and that gave Give You Anxiety some huge value out of those 2 caravels. Got a lot of boat kills there really early on, and see if he can snowball that into even more advantage on the water.
Yeah. Cav again now have arrived. We have 4 cavalry on the board, and once again, they literally do not have an entrance to his opponent. They physically cannot. They physically cannot raid his opponent. Give You Anxiety, as I mentioned in the previous game, is as a result of making Cav, I guess, or at least threatening Cav, or there's this giant wall. It's not like. Well, Kynesie had to spend a lot of wood on that.
Yeah, that's true. And some villager seconds. But the one main difference that I'm seeing right now is that Give You Anxiety's got to dock up much earlier than he did last game.
Looks like 2 caravels has arrived instead of the shipment he sent previously. And it looks like here now Kynesie has the advantage here with the extra caravels. This is the one deviation, and it looks very favourable. Though we do see offshore support, which I'm not sure. It was better, a caravel or the extra support. Obviously, this arrives a little bit late. If it had arrived seconds sooner, it would have been much better in this fight. I think we're going to see a caravel pop out if he's stalling for time. Yeah, he's got one in queue. We're going to see the extra caravel.
But I don't know that it's going to matter. Yeah, there's still 2 full HP caravels.
Oh, it needs to already be here. That's the problem. It looks like he's going to put down an outpost as well. Maybe he can sneak in some damage, but Kynesie on the ball identifies that there is, a boat there. He's not going to take any shots for free. Looks like he's stalling, going to run this boat away as far as he can, although taking some damage from the docks, unfortunately. He wants to get this tower up before he commits to a fight and hopefully keep this Vel alive.
Yeah, and he certainly needs to. Unfortunately for Give You Anxiety, I don't really like this outpost placement here. Imagine if that outpost would have been trained somewhere over here along the coast. I mean, we have to assume he was planning on sending offshore support at some point anyways.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the free outpost that he got is just really not in a position where it's going to actually have any influence over the water whatsoever. Which is
Look at the re-walling.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I guess he's forced his opponent to re-wall, but that's got to be frustrating once you get through.
Yeah.
But yeah, that outpost certainly could be more coastal, but maybe it's there for a reason. Obviously, it shows him this area of the map, but his opponent isn't going to be there for a while. He's got lots of hunt behind this big shell of his coastal town center. Sorry, coastal outpost. Definitely could be good.
And in the meantime, Give You Anxiety. Did you see that? The mast just fell off that ship.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
There goes the masts are the first thing
I don't know how they're still
filing.
moving. They don't have to take much damage for that to trigger either. That's kind of funny. But this, actually, the 108 damage that these caravels do as a direct result of sending these 2 extra upgrades is absolutely huge. You'd think, a 25% upgrade to just 2 units is terrible, but this is so strong. These caravels, they're doing so much. Having said that, though, improved warships does arrive for Kynesie. What do you think of this boat, Micro?
Yeah, they're both desperately trying to keep their boats as alive as possible. There's even a 3rd warship for Give You Anxiety out here. He is just 100% committing to trying to.
Is he gonna bring it down? If he gets that down, there's no way it can be healed. But he's got 3 docks. Does Kynesie? If that stays up, he can heal that up to full. It looks like he's gonna get away for now. He needs to pursue that. It's very, very important to keep that alive. It's next to a dock. It is now healing now. This boat, obviously now Give You Anxiety's boat, going to take mass damage from this dock with lots of villagers inside. And it looks like, Kynesie going to do the boat micro trick, going to run that boat around the caravel so the caravel cannot get a clean shot. Going to constantly make it, constantly try and retask. And as a result of that, keeps his boat alive and takes out Give You Anxiety's caravel. Wow, what? Oh, chat spam.
Down.
That was some that was sick boat micro. You don't ever see that in AoE 3.
And during all of that, Kynesie was aging as well. So he's just hit the Fortress Age. He's going to have a town center up over here along the coast. And I don't know, things are just looking not so good for Give You Anxiety. All of a sudden he goes from he's committed so many cards on water. His past 3 cards have been 2 caravels, offshore support, and improved warships.
Yeah.
And during all that, he's not been able to really stop the economic gathering from Kynesie on the water. He's really not gotten that much of an advantage, and he's just sunk so much in investment into the water here and really hasn't gained anything.
I cannot believe that what just happened. That boat was 1 shot away from dying. He just took it back to that dock, span it around, and oh wow. And now as a result of that, as you're saying, all these cards invested on water. It's, look at that villager lead for Kynesie and Give You Anxiety really trying to take the water and not achieving it. It's
and we have to assume a frigate is going to be coming or something like that next for Kynesie as well, which is really going to turn the tides of the water once again in his favor. We can see with where his flag is, if that frigate comes.
Oh dear, this is going to just annihilate one of these boats right away. Just going to take it out of the game due to that special attack here. Oh dear.
Yeah. It is so many hit points. Plus, it's being buffed up by the improved warships card as well. Kynesie just showing how efficient he is on water and how good he plays on water. Eliminating one of the caravels, both of the other caravels, very low HP. Now the frigate running away the best that it can, trying to stay at high HP.
Oh, he takes the
Let's get
frigate
taken
though!
down.
Oh, nicely done. Unfortunately, Kynesie not going to be able to repair that. You really do not want to, like, part of microing boats is keeping them alive, because you can repair them just next to the dock passively. And no more frigate. Definitely good for Anxiety here, but still Kynesie plowing ahead with 54 settler or economic population compared to GiveUAnxiety's 38.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? Like, GiveUAnxiety is fighting hard on water, and it feels like he's going about even on water, but behind all this, like, Kynesie is getting water economy. He's like training villagers out of 3 town centers. He's got this wall up, so he's completely immune to raids. He's gathering coin, like getting market upgrades, establishing a barracks. Like, he's doing all these other things. And so, like, GiveUAnxiety is like kind of going about even on water. Kynesie's like improving his position just repeatedly, and it just feels like the longer this situation goes, where GiveUAnxiety keeps investing on water and is not able to completely shut it down. Like, he needs to turn off the switch for Kynesie's water, and that's not happening. And that makes me a little bit nervous as to how much this investment is truly worth it.
Yeah, but at this point, he has to.
He's committed.
He's fully committed. 2 shipments in, 4 caravels. The presence is real on the water. I don't actually think Kynesie is in a position to push this back right now without spending significant quantities of resources on perhaps another frigate. And
Caravel, get out of there!
Yeah, no, oh, that's so bad. You need to keep them alive, but pushing his opponent back unfortunately does lose another caravel. But this game, I don't know. The scores are still fairly even. I think Kynesie he's run out of fish. He's running out of. I don't know. He's got plenty.
He's getting pushed back a little bit at the very least, and I mean, we can see a lot of those boats were idle. He's building a 3rd dock back home. The good news for him is he does have this town center held great up along the coastline as well, so he is going to be able to, at the very least, protect those very close positive tuna right next to the town center.
At least a large quantity of Kynesie's economy is now nullified, is idle in these 2 docks. So this commitment to water is reasonably good at the moment. Is sort of paying. Maybe he is able to shut down the water switch that you mentioned. Has almost done it, but still, his opponent up to fortress, and by the looks of it, queuing the industrial age. Holy crap! Wow, like even forcing this water back, his opponent has one hell of a tech advantage.
You know what else I love about this game is that there have been 4 Hussars trained in 14 and a half plus minutes. And there have been 4 military units trained, and they're 4 Hussars, and they're completely irrelevant in the game. Like, they're just standing like in random spots. They're like not even playing the game. And here comes another frigate for Kynesie.
Another frigate, and that's going to shut down the water presence, I would imagine. This thing,
Santiago.
And with the supporting caravel, and I mean, it's not like GiveUAnxiety can get any closer with the town center, but there's only a limited amount of fish in this small area. So if GiveUAnxiety can keep up the water, maybe it will shut down that section of the economy. But being industrial, we'll see factories coming out, access to heavy cannons, and the game at that point is going to be very, very tough for somebody in the colonial age to deal with.
Yeah, fortunately, GiveUAnxiety is aging. He's a quarter of the way up.
Yeah.
He's probably aging with the politician that's going to give him. Yeah, he's aging with Admiral of the Ocean Sea, so he is going to get 400 wood and an additional caravel, which obviously is going to be very powered up. He's getting upgrades from his dock to improve his fishing or his boats even more. So he's getting the important upgrades. But as you mentioned, the thing that really is going to concern me is now Kynesie is in the industrial age. He is going to have factories. He's going to start to get a land presence building up. Plus, we have to consider the fact there's going to be things like Jeanettes on the field. And, when all those things start coming into effect, maybe Kynesie doesn't need to worry about the water as much anymore. Maybe he can just start transitioning more into a land-based play and just power away on 4 TCs with, heavy cannons and super upgraded Dragoons as well.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing, right? Because at the moment the scores are barely even. Kynesie actually still ahead, and I just don't know what you do against. As soon as those factories get up, that's a huge eco boost. Or even if the heavy cannons, which is perhaps quite 2 heavy cannon shipment now here, and I think that's absolutely the right decision. This completely shut down GiveUAnxiety's ability to fight on water. Because heavy cannons have times 200 damage times 3 versus boats. It looks like Kynesie has fully taken back the water. This outpost denied, and at this point, what can you seriously do? And full access to all the food here, and factories to come out next, and more heavy cannons to follow from the factories.
Like the one extra good card the Brits has in this matchup over ports is that offshore support card, which GiveUAnxiety has sent. It makes your buildings more effective at fighting against water. But now that the heavy cannons...
Oh, here we go, 5 hussars! But there is a caravel nearby.
Yeah, they can just pop in there.
Dump them in there. Oh, wow. That could have been quite the steal. But 3 Culverins in queue by the looks of it for GiveUAnxiety. That's a lot of Culverins. I'm not sure if you need... Well, 3 is definitely going to take out these heavy cannons. Actually, the Culverins could help regain back the water presence. Wow, if he can snipe those cannons effectively, he's still in it.
Yeah, I hope this game all we see is cannons and warships. And those are the only units that need to be made this game. Cannons and warships. My life would be complete.
Oh wow, we do however have a raid going on down here. Cheeky raid, but there's enough villagers there to just hand combat that down, no problem. But is he gonna get the villager kill him before it dies? Oh no, 6 HP.
But there's at least one more hussar over here that he knows that Kynesie, and he noticed it right away, so
he's got all of these as well, but he's going to head back inside the walls. Actually, shutting down the coin, though there is one fairly close to this town centre, but has, got the cavalry presence and doing some raiding here. The only resources left behind Kynesie's wall is wood, and he's now, transitioning onto mills, which is by no means, efficient. But at this point, look at already got the Jeanette upgrade there, and that's a lot of Dragoons. And he's got Genitors sent as well.
Yeah, and GiveUAnxiety has sent naval gunners and 1 frigate as his next 2 cards. So GiveUAnxiety continuing this water presence. He may just end up winning water, but at what cost? I mean, is there going to be a situation where having water is relevant? Look at how many resources he's resunk into having, control of the water.
He needed to have control of the water earlier. Yeri's going to get it, but he spent so much getting it back after having, pretty much lost it.
Yeah, look at these, and look at the Jeanettes. The Jeanettes are starting to just run amok now here of his eco.
What do you even do against that? You make longbowmen, I guess, but...
Or else you need to be so far ahead that you can just outmass them with your own Dragoons and just have 1 million Dragoons. But I mean, he's not in the position where that's going to happen either, right? I don't know. It's just really tough at this situation. He's pushed back off the water. Yeah, Kynesie's not gathering on the water, but Kynesie doesn't really need to gather on the water anymore. He's in the next age. He's got Jeanette Dragoons. He's got
heavy cannons galore.
Heavy cannons.
He's got a source of food. 2 mills already up. He's completely he's golden right now, water or not.
Yeah. And I think GiveUAnxiety is slowly realizing this. The more that he gets pushed around by these Jeanettes, the more he's realizing, hey, I need to have some sort of a land force too. It's all well and good that I'm, fighting on water here and slowly pushing him off water, or at least slowly making his water a moot point. But in the same vein, like now I'm starting to really fall behind on land, and that's shown in the score. I mean, Kynesie powering up to 400 points. I would have to assume we'll see a factory yet. There comes the factory as his next card.
It has
And,
just arrived, yeah.
Yeah, and then now at this point, like, I mean, what do you do? How do you turn off that factory? He doesn't have enough land forces to go in there and start challenging Kniese's land infrastructure. Certainly not this wall and all these town centers that are still left alive. And he's got good map control. That's one thing he does have, but. With the Dragoons running around,
I think Kynesie able to contest that and sort of capture it back.
Yeah.
By the looks of it, though, this fight, by the looks of it, has what he needs to or does he? I guess being Jeanette Dragoons, this is still a tough fight. 2 heavy cannons joining the fray, though, and those culverins, by the looks of it, getting dispatched fairly quickly. That last one about to go down.
And just look at
dear.
the stats on the Jeanettes. 320 HP and 37 ranged attack versus 26 ranged attack and 240 HP. They're just so much stronger than their British counterparts at this point in the game. And I don't know, GiveUAnxiety needs to try and get aged up and get like double the amount of Dragoons out, and that's just not happening. That's not happening anytime soon. And add into that fact,
Kniese's taking back the war, I think.
Yeah, and add into that fact, maybe even more so. There's only one coin mine really remaining.
Yeah, and already built a plantation.
Yeah, and GiveUAnxiety really can't challenge that location, which is what he really needs to do. So. Things looking grim.
It could have shaped out to be so different. That was so cool though. The early water.
Yeah,
definitely. But here he comes with perhaps he can snipe down these cannons. No, he knows he's going to get punished if he focuses the cannon there. Doesn't get the cheeky volley off. Would have been punished by Kniese's massive Dragoons. And now, by the looks of it, Kynesie can just push. Has the presence to do that. I would imagine reinforcing. Dragoons in queue. No, not actually there, but has the resources to do that. And
he's
2 heavy
got
cannons is
as well.
Yeah, very tough to kill. 2 factories. Wow.
Yeah.
Fully transitioned by the list of it. 4 mills, 1 plantation.
So this is where we play the Age of Empires 3 trivia game, where we try and guess what's in the Shaolin temple that Kynesie has identified that he needs.
I'm not sure what it is. I know you get Rat and Shield, and they're really good once you get the upgrades.
Yeah, but he's not making it for Ration Shields, obviously. Like, there's some upgrade that he wants.
I guess we're not going to find out.
The world will never know.
There we go. Game number 1 taken by Kynesie. Well, that's frustrating. GG.
Yeah.
What a game! Holy crap! That was really fun.
If all the rest of the games are like this, my life will be complete.
Yeah.
I'll be a happy camper.
Yeah, I knew my strat this time. Yeah, the only thing I don't know. I mean, I do feel as if Kynesie did disconnect, and that is wholly the truth. But he did see the 2 caravels in the previous game arrive as the first shipment in the colonial age. Or maybe the second, I can't. Well, he saw the early caravels, and that's the point. And instead of sending 700 coin and going up straight away to the Fortress Age, he actually delayed the coin a bit longer and sent the caravels. If that was, a direct result of having played the same matchup in the same map again, who knows? But certainly, Kynesie picking up the victory overall after a fairly long 23-minute game. Actually, it's not really that long, but definitely a fun one.
Yeah, it's not that long when you consider like that both players were like heavy on water and in Age 4 and stuff like that. Like, but as we also mentioned, basically all of the resources went into fighting water for the first 20 minutes of the game. I mean, realistically, Kynesie didn't make land units until he was in Age 4 and made heavy cannons and Jeanette Dragoons. Like,
that was so cool, though. Yeah. Let's head on out, though. First game does go to Kynesie.
What's map number 2?
I don't know. They know, though.
They know? Okay. As long as they know.
I don't know what it is, but they know. It's written down somewhere.
Yeah. The one guy in chat should have just claimed the win. With, like big smile with big sad face between each word.
Bad Bible thump. Chat spam Bible thump. Capital, yeah. Bible thump. To be fair though, they're not going to hear me say that for another 2 minutes.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm going to miss them saying it. That is. Alright, so here we have game number 2. The map is still on Manchuria. That will be changed any moment now. I'm not sure what it is going to be, but the players do know. And obviously will make civilization choices based around that map. It looks like it is going to be Arkansas. So we do get to see the Arkansas game. Oh wait, no, that was Cascade Range. It's a different map entirely.
Cascade Range. I want to see Cascade. I want to see Kynesie play on Cascade Range.
Yeah, still goes 3 docks.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he would.
It's got 6 docks in each of those little ponds.
6 docks on both ponds. Yep. But this is, Arkansas is still a pretty fun map. But what civilizations are we going to see? By the looks of it, Kynesie straight up
he'll play Japan.
And it seems like a good choice, on this map. A strong civilization anyway, and a strong, one for him to be playing. GiveUAnxiety cannot play British. He has played that. He has every other civilization open to him except Iroquois and Ottoman, which have been disabled in this event. We'll have to see what he picks. What do you think his response will be?
I think he'll play something like Germany, like something that's just a comfort pick for him. I don't think he'll play Amir, which I think is wise. Maybe something like India could be okay. But interestingly, when we watched Kynesie play his round of 64 matches, I casted his round of 64 matches against Soap McTavish with Sam and Ryan, and Kynesie opted for Japanese on Arkansas as well, and he nearly lost to Soap's Russian on this map from a good contain out of Soap. So certainly, his Japanese style has some weaknesses, and he's going to be playing this. He's going to be playing likely the same style on the same map once again. So we'll see.
Yeah. We shall see. Picking up the French by the looks of it, similar to the German that you were mentioning. I imagine we'll be playing France with a similar style to Germany. Obviously, going to be going most likely for that sort of semi-FF timing pressure. That actually, I guess you can crossbow pike. It's possible versus.
Yeah,
they're both reasonable.
The thing about Kynesie though is like you almost can guarantee that he's going to go with like the super defensive style once again. Like he will almost guaranteedly go with some sort of like colonial militia oriented build. So I don't know that crossbow pike is necessarily going to be that great against.
Yeah, so you think definitely the timing pressure.
So I think it'll be more likely to see like a Musk
looks like he's happy with the matchup though. Has now just chosen to click in as France versus Japan. We are now heading into game number 2. GiveUAnxiety versus Kynesie. The score is currently 1-0 in Kynesie's favor. Spawning in the God, where do they spawn? Is it north or left or bottom?
Left and right.
In the left-hand side of the map. Spawning. In the colour blue. Of course they spawn there. I know this. This is Arkansas. As the French, we do have GiveUAnxiety. Saving recorded game. Starting with, by the looks of it, 1 wood crate there and a coin crate. So, unlikely to see a trading post out of him, which is unfortunate. The extra trading post would be really nice for France. That extra XP rolling in, makes that fortress a bit stronger. But not going to be too different. Could still get that market up, and there could be a wood treasure nearby. Going to get that. I would imagine market up and hunting dogs is fairly normal for France. But definitely worth noting that the early trading post is unlikely to be a thing here. But Japan, as always, it doesn't really matter what their crate starts are. I imagine they prefer having extra wood, but always going to get that consulate. Going to ally themselves with the Portuguese, send Heavenly Kami, spam up some shrines. And just go for that sort of colonial age boom. There's the consulate going down right now. Let's take a look at the explorers. Anything interesting? We do see a 95 wood treasure over here. Looks like
I think both players have eyes on that as well, because the native scout ran up in that direction to
could
begin with.
definitely see some early contention there.
Yeah. And just to note, I mean, you did mention that it doesn't matter for Japan as much. It does really matter. Japan much prefers to have a 300 wood start in any situation where they're going to take pressure, just because getting that consulate up that much earlier and being able to really get out that first shrine without having to slow down all your villagers chopping wood like Kynesie is currently having to do is very, very valuable. And unfortunately, he's going to have to
only just putting these back on food as a result of not having the extra wood there. Who do you think is more favoured by not having the extra wood start then? If you say is that useful for Japan?
I think it's more in French's favor to have a coin start than it is in Japan's favor. Yeah. But that also comes from a fairly biased Japanese standpoint as well, where regardless of the matchup, I'm always going to want to have 300 wood. Like, anytime I don't have 300 wood, I feel very uncomfortable with. So
it does manage to get the trading post up by the looks of it. Yeah, it looks like he full collected 200 wood. Oh, actually, he's 12-10 and GiveUAnxiety has not built a house, has gone for the trading post start, not building a house here or a market, has overpopped his villages, queued up to 9 villages and clicked the 3 vill shipment and overpopped at 12. This is a non-standard play coming out of GiveUAnxiety. And I don't know if Kynesie is necessarily going to expect anything like this. He can see the trading post on the map, so if he does identify that, he could know that something's coming. But GiveUAnxiety, known for his standard play and for playing, a fairly by the book games.
Yeah, the thing though that I worry about is this just playing right into Kynesie's hands? Like, Kynesie wants you to play aggressively into his style. Like, his style is good at fending off aggression. His style is very good at, being like, I've got walls, I've got colonial militia, and if he overcommits, too many resources into basically ramming like muskets or crossbows or pikes or something like that into the impenetrable force that is, Kynesie's town center with colonial militia, that's a situation that Kynesie's probably just fine with, and it could play into his hands moving forward. But we'll see whether or not GiveUAnxiety has something different in store. Maybe he's got some sort of clever build. Maybe he's going to do some sort of like Musk semi-FF. Just because he's 12-10ing, I guess, doesn't mean he's going to have to commit to some sort of super hardcore all-in pressure.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it was just really banking on having the trading post and was hoping for the 200 wood start here. Perhaps he does. We'll see what happens. But fairly good treasures for Kynesie, picking up a villager there. He picks himself up, that big chunky wood treasure, and now finding himself 135 XP, which is definitely a big chunk of XP, especially since you get XP as well for killing the 2 black bears. I think overall the treasures have favoured the Japanese player this game.
I reckon GiveUAnxiety straight up effing here. Like, I think he's just going to straight FF, get 2 falconets out as early as humanly possible,
and then just hard pressure
and just ram 2 falcons down Kynesie's throat and be like, deal with this.
Oh boys, here we go. Has got all the coin he needs to age up now. In fact, 22 more coin than he actually needs. So we'll see what he actually does with all this coin. Maybe he's going to be making hussars then if he's not going to stop collecting coin.
Or perhaps maybe more intelligently just make like 5 muskets and just like start sieging down some of these shrines. It's fairly low hanging fruit.
Oh, stable! What is going on? Okay.
I don't know. I don't actually know what's happening.
Is this the build where you make 5 hussars, you ship 3 hussars, you have 8 hussars really, really early on, and that pretty much kills anything that comes. Not that you really want to kill anything that comes out of the barracks, but
it just doesn't make any sense to me though. Against Kynesie's guaranteed like turtle style, like look at what he's got back in his base already. He's got a full wall going.
It's fully walled.
Yeah, maybe it is though. Like 8 hussar, like it's the 8 hussar build, but what is 8 Hussars going to do running into all these
Maybe
walls?
he's up against Kynesie. Thinks Kynesi's going to start. How frequently does Japan start with Yumi archers? Perhaps because if that were the case, 8 Hussars would absolutely destroy any Yumi start. But if it's Ashigaru musketeers, is he just banking on just one thing happening? He's going to be very upset coming to see this wall. He's hurt his economy so much from the 1210. And now he sees this wall, there's just no way into his opponent's base. Even more walls going up inside the base by the looks of it. Wow.
Yeah, Kynesie can see
there is an
those
entrance.
3 Hussar as well.
He can get inside.
But Kynesie sees those 3 Hussar, and he should know that's a 3 Hussar shipment. Like, you don't roam 3 Hussar around the map usually, and you're always going to have resources to make more than 3 Hussar. That's a fairly good tell that your opponent has shipped 3 Hussar as their first card, especially combined with that early of an age up. And this is going to be a really easy sentry pop for Kynesie whenever he needs to do it. I don't know that he's explicitly going to be able to get much out of this. And
and by the look, that wall being finished up, and there's just no way. Well, he could get the 1 Vil kill, but that's all he's going to achieve by the looks of it so far. I don't think he's picked. That's the first Vil he's picked up, I think.
Yeah.
2 Ashies come out though. That's not much of a defense, but as you say, does have access to sentries whenever he wants to call them. 8 crossbowmen is his follow-up shipment. They have almost arrived here. Do you think this pressure is? I don't know. It feels like Japan's going to stabilize and then win.
It feels like it's not working at all, honestly.
5 Ashies pop out there. At least they only gets a little bit of damage in, but still. Not
and I mean these 8 crossbows, like just the amount of distance they had to walk, it just doesn't feel like it's been worth it. And they're gonna take so much damage, like running around these walls, just trying to get in range to actually do some actual damage against these Ashigarus. And despite the fact that like Kynesie has been forced to spend a lot of villager seconds inside his town center. He's killing a lot of the units, and GiveUAnxiety's really all in here. Like, let's not forget that. Like, he did a 12-10. Yeah. He's shipped 2 military shipments as his first card, and by the looks of it now, he's planning on aging, but he's used a lot of his early game economy into really not accomplishing that much. And Kynesie, although he has been slowed down, is still sitting at 130 shrine pop, still has upper barracks, has decent infrastructure, and I don't think he's too displeased with where he's at right now.
I don't think he is either. 5 Yumis popping out. These crossbowmen, sit down. Oh wow, the door just opened and that really frightened me. I don't know. I'll close that. But there's 2 ways of looking at this, right? There's as you know, the rush and the boom, as everyone knows. And the rush is, I'm going to damage my own economy in the hope that I can damage their economy more than what I would get from booming. And by the looks of it, he slowed his opponent down a lot, but he slowed himself down even more than he slowed his opponent down, I would say.
Yeah. He is aging up now. He will have about a card when he gets aged up. And I think we'll have to assume that it's going to be 2 Falconets. And if Kynesie can come up with a way to deal with the 2 Falconets, the game is over. I mean, look at GiveUAnxiety's economy. He's just building a market now, has only 19 CDBs at 9 minutes.
Oh, that lack of 4 CDB is so brutal. It's such an efficient shipment, and not sending it is blasphemy. But if you want to go with this aggressive style, sometimes you catch him off guard. But I don't know, like as you're mentioning these walls in Japan generally, it feels.
Yeah, and like even when the 2 Falconets get here, look at how much infrastructure they're going to have to blast their way through just to get to something that actually matters, like the walls, the consulate. None of this stuff up front Kynesie actually cares about. He's going to be able to send his bestieros right now if he so chooses, and then he can like care less whether or not his consulate goes down. He still gets the passive effect from the Portuguese alliance, and whether or not he has the consulate up or not.
Does that reduce the cost of walls? I guess it would.
Yeah, it does.
Wow, that's a fairly interesting interaction that I haven't thought of before, but definitely relevant considering the quantity of walls he's built. Oh, the Wonder does go down. Certainly something he wants to do, but if 2 cannons is on the way, would it be wiser to stay colonial and mass units in response to it?
It doesn't matter. It's not even on the way. It was a 1,000 wood, like, and I don't know that it really matters. Like, it almost feels like GiveUAnxiety is like dead in the water right now, just because
Is this
he
just
doesn't.
trying to catch up desperately?
Yeah, and I mean it's so hard to play from behind at this point. I mean, Japan's got a good eco. Look at his shrine pop, 160 shrine pop. He's got Heavenly Kami. He's sent 4 vills at least once. He's got a market up. Look at the market upgrade differential at this point. I mean, Kynesie's got his second cherry gathering upgrades. Like, he's got basically everything he really needs. And I mean, Placer Mines is just now finishing for the French player, and it's just such a massive game of catch up here now, and I just don't know if he ever is going to catch up, and certainly 1,000 wood is not going to help him catch up. I mean, I guess he can drop a second town center and start to try and
exactly
get some sort of and get some sort of villager production going again, but I mean, we have to realize Kynesie's going to be able to do the same thing now.
He can do the same thing, and he's already got more villagers, significantly more, and the shrines behind it, and the upgrades behind it. Just this extra TC. It's going to take a while to pay off, but it is a very GiveUAnxiety style thing. You often see him building town centers.
Extra town centers, yeah.
Extra town centers, yeah.
It's I think it's an artifact of like him being an Age of Empires Online and Age of Mythology player as well. That's just kind of more the play style in those games as well. And I think he just kind of adapted that play style into his Age of Empires 3 gameplay. And I don't know that this is really going to give him what he needs though moving forwards. I mean, Kynesie shipping 1,000 wood of his own, going to be able to pop down a couple of town centers. Finish up his shrine population, improve his infrastructure, get up, a stable, a second Rex, everything he really needs, and
all of these walls, they just seem so random.
They seem random, but they're
useful.
Like it's not like true random. It's this like controlled randomness that he's got that like gives him these paths in and out of his base and just.
Protect
the delay
sections of resources and
the delays that they put in, like, just it makes it so awkward. Gives him chances to like run villagers into strange places that you would not traditionally look to find them, and they can be completely safe gathering from and stuff like that. So
8 skirms though are now arriving for GiveUAnxiety, in which are not really doing anything right now. Perhaps he's expecting some sort of pressure or gearing up to push out. Yeah, here we go. Spells go time, but 8 skirms plus his 3 expos doesn't feel like it's
it's completely underwhelming, right?
Yeah.
And he could be running like headlong into something like 2 or 4 flaming arrows for all he knows. And you and I know that Kynesie sent 1,000 wood, but it's very dangerous to be running that 8 skirmisher into an Age 3 Japan player who presumably...
Oh, do we have a disconnection? No, we don't. I was going to say, holy crap, Kynesie, if you DC'd there, that would have been... Oh my god. Yeah, but he does have 4 cuirasses out.
Yep.
And, well, actually, 6 cuirasses, or 7 even. There's a lot of cavalry, but... I still don't think it's enough.
There's an insane upgrade, by the way. So we watched Kynesie, like I was mentioning, we watched Kynesie.
Oh, the archer one.
Yeah. There's an insane. It's like a 30% attack upgrade or something like that.
It's very expensive though, but this is the point in the game where it's very strong. If you have archers like Yumi or Longbowmen, wow.
It's like
nice to identify. Not many players identify that those upgrades are there. Clearly, Kynesie doing his homework on the natives that exist on this map and making use of them.
Sam brought this point up, and it was so relevant. Like, Kynesie feels so comfortable playing in the Third Age. Like, you and I know all of the techs in Age 2 and what they can do, right? Because we play so many games that are in Age 2 and early Age 3. Kynesie plays so many games that get to late Age 3 and early Age 4 that he just, he knows those techs like you and I know hunting dogs. Like, he knows the percentages and he knows, he knows what they do and, when is the relevant time to get them.
Wow, Age 4 in Q.
Yeah, and it just makes him that much scarier to play against. I would just feel out of my realm of knowledge playing this style of gameplay, and I think that's showing here for GiveUAnxiety as well. I don't think he knows, like, it seems like he's just kind of blundering around. Doesn't really seem like he's got much method to his madness here. He's got a second TC, he's got like a trading post, but there doesn't seem to be much coherence to his build, whereas Kynesie's got a very structured idea. He's got these walls, he's got, a castle coming up, he's got very specific upgrades in mind at the seminal trading post, stuff like that. Like, he's just got, it seems like he knows exactly what he wants and he's executing it, versus GiveUAnxiety, who's trying to make something up as he goes. And I mean, it's not really working. He's obviously expecting flaming arrows. He's got
it ready. He's got, he's trying to do something, but I agree with you. I think after the failed pressure early on, holy crap though, 3 falconets just popped out. That definitely spells go time, especially since his opponent just hit up to industrial and hasn't been making units, but does have still a reasonable army to defend this off, and we'll obviously see the shipments coming out from Japan now that he's up. He almost has a shipment ready. But yeah, I totally agree. I think after the failed pressure has just been, he's not out, so has continued to play, but as you mentioned, Kynesie's game just looks so much more structured.
So more fluid. Yeah, it's just like he knows what he wants. He's got.
It reminds me of your analogy when talking about collecting a relevant quantity of wood during transition for specific upgrades. This feels like exactly that. But
it's exactly that, except with age 4 in mind. But yeah, it is exactly that, except we're talking.
Here
about
we go though. We do have the fight. Can he get off some relevant shots with these Falcons? There's a lot of them. If he can use those culverins to snipe down the flaming arrows, this isn't looking too bad. But he does now have well, they're not honored yet, so thank God. But oh no, the cannons! Oh dear, in hand combat. Having said that though,
yeah, he's still getting an okay trade. Does have all 3 of his culverins alive. The Corsairs are cleaning up most of the rest of the ranged units as well. So. Not all doom and gloom for GiveUAnxiety here. Was able to clean up that fight fairly well and actually do some pretty relevant damage here.
Yeah, I guess GiveUAnxiety has had a second town center up for quite a long period of time now as well, which has definitely evened up the villager counts. Like, he's actually ahead now, I would say, in terms of villagers. Remembering that 1.25 villagers are 1.25 as good for French. Because they're Ferrari. Doesn't have to
flaming arrows.
Yeah. You sit down. Those guns did a roundabout turn just there. Yeah, he cleared up that army, but look how quickly Kynesie is able to bounce back with the 4 flaming arrow shipment and just training units from his now industrial age economy. Remember, these have got those seminal upgrades and whatever else he wanted. Paper cartridge. He's taken he's got all of those upgrades from his wonder as well.
He's taking a quick pit stop over into Dutch consulate land as well to pick up the bank for the true late game effect. Because why not?
Where is the bank? I'm trying to find it.
Oh my god, Shogun Tokugawa has reached the field. 2 shots of culverin, no problem. Look at that guy, he's a monster.
He's got 198 hand attacks. Spank.
You think Mamelukes are a joke. Then you take a look at Shogun Tokugawa's hit points and attack, and you're like, nope. There exists a unit that's a bigger deal than a Mameluke in the game. And
you only get one of these, though.
You only get one of these, but I'll tell you what, that guy packs a punch.
Oh, that's Strela. It was not even a Strela, it's a skirmisher.
You get GiveUAnxiety just resigns, I don't know what else he can do. Like, he just can't clear that army.
Yep. He sees it. Kynesie just playing a super safe style. Not, yes, his opponent's failed pressure didn't work and he probably could have pushed out sooner, but super safe, goes up to the industrial, gets everything he needs there, just makes it so he physically cannot lose, even if he could have ended the game sooner. No risks were taken here.
See, I like GiveUAnxiety's general game plan here. His general game plan, aside from, the very early pressure, was try and control the map, try and isolate my opponent into a corner of the map, and then tech up and have a tech and be late game France, right? Like, late game France is really, really scary, and he's even got some good cards. He's adjusted his deck, so he's got refrigeration and Royal Mint and food stylist. Like he's got some extra good cards like to improve his late game French, but then he like kind of did this more all-in early game build, and
Yeah.
maybe if he had gone with like something a little more standard, like a 5 Musk semi-FF, and then just like parked outside of his opponent's base with like 2 Falconets and forced Kynesie to like make some hard decisions like around, you know, what techs he was going to get early in age 3, and not just basically give him like a free ride into age 3 and age 4. Maybe he could have powered up a little bit more efficiently and become a little bit scarier a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Having said that, though, he did keep up in terms of resources not too bad over the course of the game, so it perhaps didn't look as it just, you know, well, it certainly could have been better, yeah, because of the sacrifices he made early on. But I think GiveUAnxiety going for the all-in build there and hoping it would work. Maybe he feels as if Kynesie is, you know, such a formidable opponent that he has to do something crazy to actually win. Maybe he feels that way, and that was the reason we saw that build. Either way, GiveUAnxiety not really having been given an opportunity to show us that he is, you know, quite a really strong player as a result of this game. But GiveUAnxiety a very good player. Just this game doesn't portray that, I think, because of the decision he made early on, which could have been relevant, could have worked out, but yeah, as Zuta was saying, perhaps something more standard was better.
Well, and I think we do also have to appreciate the fact, right, that Kynesie is probably like one of the top 4 players in this tournament. Like he's by all means, in my eyes, he's a favorite to make it, you know, to at least the quarterfinals, semifinals, and maybe even the finals. So he's a very, very strong, formidable opponent, and part of that comes to his unique play style, and part of it comes to, you know, just the flat out fact that he's very good at the game. So
yeah, entirely agree. I'd love to see Kynesie go all the way to the finals. This guy's games are very, very entertaining to watch. But heading into game number 3, the score is currently 2-0 in Kynesie's favor. The next map, by the looks of it, is Tibet. And Kynesie switching to British has clicked in. GiveUAnxiety now hovering over is Japan. He still has the opportunity to change. We'll see what he does if he clicks in. But what do you think of this matchup?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I don't really like Brit necessarily on this matchup, or in this map, just because it's a little bit lower on Hunt. I think it's a good map for Japan just because of how well the map spreads out and stuff. I think it would be pretty fun, or pretty even, all things considered. But you know, I mean, Kynesie obviously does know how to play more civs, but now we're starting to get into the point where it's maybe not his better civs. Oh,
the Sue being picked. That is interesting. GiveUAnxiety switching it up here. Kynesie now has the opportunity to select a different civilization should he desire. Do you think he will?
No, I reckon. Oh no,
the Sue mirror.
Yeah, I was gonna say I reckon he's like, he knows his civs that he wants to play on certain maps, but it looks like potentially
GiveUAnxiety not happy with the Sue mirror. Gonna switch back to Japan, and
I reckon Kynesie goes back to Brits.
Yep, full cycle. Now that they've done that cycle, GiveUAnxiety realize that, all right, fine, I'm gonna have to take this. Or is he going to take the Sue mirror? Those are effectively what he's been offered. No, putting a new civ down on the table, has selected India. Kynesie clicking in as British, though. Actually, from the grand finals of the previous tournament, we know that this matchup is not quite a good one for British. Clicking in, both players happy with it. But as you say, you know, British perhaps not so good on Tibet.
Yeah, but the one thing that they do have in this particular matchup is the fact that it is a bit choky, so longbows behind walls are still a thing, and I think that's what I expect to see from Kynesie in this game.
I think so too. So game number 3 is now happening. Our players are ready. They have selected their civilizations. GiveUAnxiety eventually landing on India after a few switcheroos. Kynesie playing as the British. The map is Tibet. It is very woolly. It is very mountainous. This is possibly one of the most interesting maps of Gaia's set. Simply because if you just look at it, you start on this inner ring, and we'll just quickly go around it for anybody who has not, seen this map. It is a brand new map made by Guy. So you have this outer ring where you have, hunts and mines and a big trade route. It's worth noting this is 2 separate trade routes that kind of look like they're one. It's not quite like the Great Lakes trade route. And then as you sort of move in, you start on this inner ring, and then there's an even further inner ring which has a single hunt placed on top of it. And by the looks of it, Forwardville coming out straight away from Kynesie here. Is he intending to get some early herding down, or is he going to do some early walling? No, he's going to build a manor in the middle.
He's going to build a manor. Oh, I actually really like this. This manor serves 2 purposes. One, and most importantly, it blocks a potential agri-fort placement. And 2, it allows him to get vision of whether or not his opponent is 10-10ing and start herding hunts early.
Yeah.
I suppose this is just to make sure that if any sort of agri-fort, I wouldn't even be surprised if we see wall segments go down like in all of these positions here. Like he can just start
even before he's aged.
Yeah, just to block potential aggro.
I like the split there of the 2 vills. The first one coming out the manor, heading sort of over towards the left. He was looking for that hunt with both the vills, found it, and then sent them both there. Second manor now, all his mana's going down in the middle, aside from that starting one in his base. But
it's so good.
Yeah, it's clever. It's definitely a good idea. But we also introduced the location of our players. Spent a while introducing the map, a very mountainous region. It feels like you're playing on a mountain. And I think that was the aesthetic Gaia was going for. Big shout out to Gaia for making this map, and to Azank for the UI which we are using that shows us all the resources and all of that. But we do have Kynesie in the south of the map in the colour red playing as the British. Spent quite a lot of time showing the manners, but there they are. That's what he's done in the early game. No market there. GiveUAnxiety though, spawning sort of in the north right. The north right. That sounds so dumb. The north right position.
Have you got your post-it notes up yet?
I haven't, but I ought to.
East and west.
Yeah, Saturday Smackdown, he told me.
North, south.
I'll do it. Fairly good amount of cows, though, for GiveUAnxiety. He has picked up 7 cows. His opponent only on 2.
Hate to say I called it, but I called it.
What did you call?
The wall segments going down in all the random spots in the top and low to block. It's so smart though as well, right? It
totally blocks an agri-fort.
It blocks an agri-fort. There will be no agri-fort. And to be fair, if you look at this outer ring, like, I mean, you can maybe fit the agri-fort like in here. You could fit it in here.
That's still really awkward.
Yeah, it's in a super awkward spot, and I guarantee you, like, the villager will run right up here to look to put down. Like, this has 100% not been scouted, I don't think, by GUA yet.
Wow.
Maybe it has by this elephant. But either way, like, he's going to send a villager to this middle portion of the map to put down an agri-fort, and he will not find a position to put it down. And that may force him to do something different, like, in his base.
Yeah, and if he's, not intending to do that thing,
yeah,
he's
like
immediately
here
thrown
comes
off course.
Here comes the Vil, and he's going to be in for a rude awakening. He's not going to find any spot to put down.
Yeah, this is really good planning from Kynesie. It is expensive though to lay down all these wall segments, but here comes GiveUAnxiety. 3 villages. Look at this. Oh goodness, he's like, oh dear.
He can maybe fit it in over here.
Yeah.
Look at Kynesie. The race is on.
Yeah, is he gonna get the Vil on the spot? Oh, he puts it down in the back, but is that?
You could see it in Kynesie's mind, like he thought it was going to go down over here, and so he was desperately
wanting to put a Vil on top to block it.
Yeah.
But is this spot really that awkward for him? Do you feel like these wall segments are sort of wasted in a way, or is this wonder placement okay?
He still gets complete vision of what his opponent is doing, right? Like, there will be no units or no shipments that come out of the agri-fort that Kynesie doesn't immediately have knowledge of. So, and to be fair, it's a bit awkward to siege down these houses, too. I mean, as a PR-14, what's one of the first things we learn when playing against British? Don't siege down manor houses, right? And now all of a sudden there's 3 manor houses right on top of your agri-fort, giving your opponent complete knowledge of what you're doing. And
even more walls.
This is the Kynesie we've all come to know and love.
Yeah. So
and look at this, and it's so smart too. Like he knows. He's like basically building a little airlock for his like longbows to stand in, right? Like he knows where his opponent is gonna go. Oh yes, I was just gonna say, like, I hope he just jams that tower right in there. It's such a good spot for it. covers his coin mine. It covers like it's that tower is covered behind 2 segments of walls, right? Like it's going to be able to shoot over 2 segments of walls, and things are just getting more and more awkward by the second for you.
What is going on with this elephant in this village here? It's just been like pummeling away with his gun. He's going to take it out by the looks of it. Oh no, 100 extra hit points from the age up there. But yeah, this is shaping out to be quite an interesting age 1. Both players now up to the Colonial. Let's take a look what they're up to. 700 wood has now just arrived from Kynesie. I would expect to see lots of manor houses going down. Has, I think, skimped on the manor. Well, actually, no, not really. I thought he built so many walls that he'd skimped on the manors. But out of this wood, we can expect perhaps another military building. But certainly plenty of manors and obviously the upgrades as well. The Indian player give you anxiety. We'll have to see what his first shipment is. Likely to be something like 600 wood, though.
Yeah, I think it'll just be like 600 wood. I don't anticipate like ramming more and more sepoys into these walls.
Oh, 5 sepoys does come out and committing to the aggression style despite all of this vision that his opponent has, and more importantly, the walling. Was he aware of the walls in his opponent's base? He had to suspect that would be a thing. Can he make it happen though? Can he make something happen with these extra units?
He is going to try and swing over here to the left-hand side, which is going to be the more appropriate route. Coming down here through the middle section, there's there's so much in the middle here of the map that it's not going to have any success coming down here. So I do like at least the approach from the left-hand side. It's going to be a little bit more appropriate, but either way, there's still a lot of defensive structure here that he's going to have to navigate his way around to actually do any lasting damage.
And it is very, very awkward to have, one set of units here and one here with no easy way to hook them up in the middle. Like, it's not like you can just put them together without going a very, sort of awkward distance. Does lose 5 of those, all 5 of those sepoy going down just to the outrageous range of longbowmen there. And that nullifies the shipment entirely. It doesn't have that 600 wood, which is such a big investment, such a big sort of impact that it has on what you can do, like upgrades, infrastructure. It doesn't have that anymore, and the 5 sepoy didn't really seem to achieve sort of all that much. It did force a 6 longbow shipment out of Kynesie, but I have a feeling that was what he was going to send, irrespective of what Give You Anxiety did.
Yeah, assuming, of course, that he saw some sort of pressure. I think that was the reasonable call to make either way. But now, like, look at the position we're left in. I mean, the walling has finished here on the central choke. That secures quite a bit of hunt. Oh man, those hunts! They're all gonna get inside the wall. That's so huge,
wow.
actually. Like, all of the hunts got inside the wall.
The middle hunts, he's walled them back. They can't escape now. That's extra hunt out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's so good. And now they're like all kind of stuck in this little airlock too, right? He's gonna lose a couple of vills, but he's also gonna be able to push back the pressure, which is...
He didn't even lose them. Oh wait,
yeah,
you
he
mean
did
these
lose
2
one.
in the back? Yeah, he might
he's
lose.
gonna lose maybe one back
I was
there
looking
too.
at some on the front.
But yeah, it's such an awkward game for Give You Anxiety from here on out, right? Like, his main attack path has been completely cut off. He's giving his opponent full vision, and like, he doesn't really want to siege these down. I mean, look at Kynesie's pop. He's at 45 out of 90. It's not like losing those houses like actually really matters to him. This is where, if I'm Give You Anxiety, I'm just scratching my head and wondering, like, why did I have to play against this guy? Why can't I play against someone who's just going to play normal?
Yeah. Maybe this should be the normal way to play. Maybe it's not that good. There are ways to counter this, but it's an interesting style, and it certainly works for him.
The thing is, like, Give You Anxiety has to practice to beat this player and this player alone, right?
Yeah.
And then if he beats this player, then he has to go back to playing like a completely different style to beat standard play. Like, he's spent probably the last several weeks like studying for like these matchups and these games just to like try and beat this strange style, and then he has to work doubly hard to like go back to beating standard play after the fact.
The question is though, why isn't Kynesie's style the standard way of playing? There's definitely a reason for that, and
because I think it's difficult to punish, but I think if properly played against, it is punishable. And to be perfectly fair, it's not easy to play. Like, this is not an easy style to play. Like, with all these like, these wall segments, sometimes they seem random, but they're not random. Like, he's got a very formulated plan with how he's building his walls and the manner of which he's placing his buildings and the position of which he's like putting down that tower. Like, that outpost may seem like it's in a somewhat random position, but it's not, right? It's covering his silver mine. It's shooting over 2 segments of walls up into, you know, the cliff and stuff like that. And like having the foresight to put those things down in those very particular spots and keep all of your villagers safe whilst doing all this and playing from, you know, somewhat awkward positions is not an easy thing to do. And you know, sometimes you watch him.
Look how safe all these vills are.
Yeah.
They're just untouchable. Even from
and
the
you
raiding pressure.
watch him execute it, and it seems like, oh, like everyone should do this. This seems really, really good, but it's not that easy to do, and it's much easier to say like, well, everyone should play like this. But in practicality, if everyone played like this, very few people would find the success that Kynesie finds with this playstyle.
Yeah, that's true. Kynesie, certainly good, certainly unique. What do you think? What is the state of the game currently? Kynesie currently on 39 villagers compared to GiveUAnxiety's 32, which is not as impressive as it could be considering we are, 11 minutes effectively into the game and only being 8 vills up is. And GiveUAnxiety does have 2 wood trickles behind this. So it's even like the villager lead Kynesie has isn't all that impressive, but it does have a fairly large military presence and lots of safe resources. And the potential to build, at this point in the game, still more manors. I don't know. Kynesie is arguably in a solid state. But what does India have going for them? This game is by no means over.
India's actually in a perfectly okay position. He's got his villager shipment from Auto Consulate just finishing up now. I mean, he's going to pull within 5 villagers here.
That's not good. Oh, he's not going to get punished at all. All right, that's fine.
Loses one of the panels, but
nothing happened. That's all right then.
Nope, we're out of here. But no, like the ecos are really close. GiveUAnxiety's got good upgrades. He's got Auto Consulate. He's got good infrastructure. He still does have the Aggro Fort in the middle of the map, giving him complete vision of where his opponent's at. His opponent is Brit and is running out of Hunt, which at some point becomes a fairly relevant thing. And I mean, India, as the game progresses, does scale better into the middle portion of the game. So India's definitely got the better Age 3. And if it gets to that point, which it looks like for Kynesie it's going to fairly soon.
Yeah, I think so.
If it gets to the point where both players are... if both players get into the 3rd age, obviously India does have the better Age 3 play. So we'll have to see. I don't think things are just over for GiveUAnxiety. They're definitely a little tenuous, though, now that Kynesie is on his way to the 3rd age.
Yeah, that is true, but equally, if Kynesie... I don't know, Kynesie's still got a very large army presence. I mean, pushing your opponent whilst they're aging is good, but it just doesn't feel like GiveUAnxiety can achieve that at this point in time. I don't know.
One thing that always
I'm
surprises
struggling
me
to get my head around this.
Yeah, the thing that always surprised me about Kynesie is he spends so many villager seconds and so much time like walling and running around and stuff, and it seems like he's always still somehow aging. Like, it doesn't feel like he should be able to age right now because like he's lost quite a few villagers to raids. I mean, he's Brit. It's 13 minutes and he's only at 44 vills. I mean, 44 vills at 13 minutes is not the gold standard for boomy British play. Let's be perfectly honest. I mean, that should be the number you should be aiming to have at, pre 10 minutes. So it's not like his eco's out of control, out of this world, like mind-boggling strong right now. It's really not, but he still has managed to get a decent army and has managed to age up behind all this, which is impressive in itself.
With very defensive structures and fortifications, you could argue. Yeah, and I guess those are the reason why his economy isn't quite as good as it could be, as you're saying. But about to hit up here. Here comes sort of GiveUAnxiety pressuring this barracks on the side, making some use out of the units he has. But he's going to see his opponent age up, and he's not going to be too happy that actually British managed to sneak up. Do you necessarily think he's expecting this?
We hasn't gotten a good read on GiveUAnxiety's army size in the very recent past, so I don't think he'll be completely caught off guard by it, just because the army size for the Brit player hasn't been revealed, and if the Brit player isn't timing pushing out, it probably means he's not super confident in his mass, which probably means that he's trying to do something sneaky behind this. So I don't think that comes as too big of a surprise, but at the same time, it's definitely not something GUA is happy to see, because at this point, we can see he's probably saving to age himself, and playing catch-up is not something he necessarily wants to be doing either.
No, now British is up to the next stage. They do now sort of have the initiative got those upgrades. He's now could go to GiveUAnxiety, and that is what he's going to do.
Yeah, and like Luna's 2 Phelps, yeah, there it is. Wow, and he's even trained 3 more Falconets.
Wow, he has. This is initiative. This is tempo. This is.
Yeah, this is scary. And behind this, GiveUAnxiety has just started to age. He is aging with the Taj Mahal, so if he does get aged up, he will be able to buy himself a little bit of time to get out something like 2 siege elephants or something to potentially delay these Falconets, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit too late. He's
obviously, you don't want to age when your opponent's pressuring you, and it feels like British sort of sneaked up in a way, and now you're aging. And this is exactly the position you don't want to be in. Oof. Wow, that is one volley. Agra Fort goes down, and he's only 50% aged. He would much rather have maybe 2,100 or 2,200 extra units worth of resources. Well, 2,200 extra units would be quite nice, actually.
I think we would classify that as cheating. You randomly have 2,000 units in a 200 population game. There's a head scratcher.
I wonder if the game would lag. It probably would. Wow, look at this though. Five cannons bringing down the consulate, which is a very fairly tanky building, and he's just going to move on to all of these houses in the stable and just absolutely everything. GUA only just now getting up, and it's not like he can get upgrades instantly and send shipments instantly. He does, however. He's
going to pop the ceasefire.
He is able to do that instantly.
Yeah, he's going to pop the ceasefire.
One of the few things he can do instantly.
We have to pray for his hopes that he's able to get some upgrades. He's likely going to need 2 siege elephants ASAP. Looks like he did have a shipment when he got aged up, so potentially that's sending. Maybe there's something like Urmi that can pop out and save him as well. Obviously, if the muskets get a little bit too ambitious here and get caught out by a 7-year Urmi shipment, maybe there's a chance that he can catch up. But I think he might just lose the town center and his only remaining place to drop units off as well before that even becomes
it's gone.
Yeah. There you can see shipment back in queue.
Yeah, he was sending one and no longer. Yeah, it's back, and that does spell the end of the game. GiveUAnxiety calling it there. A 3-0 sweep. GL in the next round. Of course, Kynesie progresses to the round of 16, and GiveUAnxiety is eliminated from the Summer Championships.
Yeah, it looks like GiveUAnxiety did have his siege elephant sending.
Just about to arrive by the looks of it. I think the British sneaked up, and then GiveUAnxiety plays catch up, and as a direct result of that, British is pushing him as he's aging, and that's never a good time.
Yeah, I think he spent a little bit too much time trying to force the issue, and this is like the recurring theme of things that I see when people play against Kynesie. It always seems like they spend a little bit too much time focusing on trying to stop him from aging up instead of just slowing his age up and then being a step ahead of him when it comes to the tech game. I feel like the India player, he could still do like the 5 sepoy early, and he could still like force all the awkward wall segments and the towers and like the weird stuff that Kynesie's building, but still be playing economically enough behind it that, I mean, like, look at his Imperial bureaucracy. He didn't get there until 13 minutes and 13 seconds. Like, he could have that, like, 6.5 minutes instead. And he could just, like, power up his eco. And if he could power up his eco and get aged up a little bit earlier and, like, stay technologically more advanced than his opponent, he would have a better chance than, playing the catch-up, as we mentioned, and trying to deal with 5 Falconets and veteran muskets at, this point in the game, which is going to be very difficult to deal with.
Absolutely right. That is, however, the end of GiveUAnxiety's tournament adventure for another few months. I'm not necessarily sure where he placed in the previous tournament, but GiveUAnxiety is certainly someone to be looking out for. I remember GiveUAnxiety sort of coming back to AoE3, or sort of starting with AoE3 after, his I guess Soldier, his brother, streamed a lot. But GiveUAnxiety, I remember him sort of starting out on the official AoE channel, because he came from, I believe, Age of Empires Online. That is right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's correct.
And I remember being better than him for a short period of time.
Yeah,
didn't last long.
He's a good RTS player.
Picked it up quickly, and definitely someone to watch out for. I think he's going to be around for a while, and that's good.
Yeah, definitely a decent player. Unfortunately, he rammed into the force that is Kynesie in the rounder.
Oh God.
I maintain what I said earlier. I would rather play any other player than Kynesie in this tournament. If maybe there are probably a few people who have different views, and they're probably very high level people. But as a PR35 player, like even myself, if I was playing in this tournament, Kynesie is the last person I would want to see on my side of the bracket, just because I know how frustrated I would personally get playing against him. It would be very, very difficult to deal with. And to his credit, that just shows how good of a player he is, right? Like, if other people are having this difficult of a time dealing with it and dealing with his playstyle, obviously he's crafted something that is being effective for him.
Yep, I would agree with that statement. Amen to that. That is, unfortunately, though, the end of the round of 32 Sunday stream. I'm not sure if there is actually more round of 32 games to be played. If I switch over to the schedule, we do indeed have Shimras versus Asa game, which was supposed to happen earlier today. Unfortunately, though, it didn't happen. There was a reason why, and then it was late in Japan, and Shimras went to bed, and Asa game, I don't know. That will be played at some other time, but we would have had that streamed, and there wouldn't have been a big gap between the games if that had been able to take place. The Dairoga versus King of Osmane was a fairly short series, but a good one, an okay one. It was fun, but the point is that those two sort of happened quite early on in the day, and one of them didn't happen, and then we had these last two, and as a result of that, I feel as if the stream feels a bit disjointed. But that is the end of this. We had some pretty good ending games though to bring it out on.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
God, I hope that made sense. I felt like I was blundering my words out. I didn't actually know what I wanted to say. Anyway,
words, stuff.
Yeah, try and get it out. I did it.
When in doubt, just yell random adjectives.
Red.
Splendid. Red.
Red. Kynesie's red.
Yeah. Large. Hefty.
Hefty. Whoa.
That's a good one.
That was a good
That's
one.
a good one.
What is the
Good
time?
adjective.
It's almost 1 a.m. for me. I'm very happy with today's casting. I enjoyed these last few games. That was very fun.
Yeah, it's always a good weekend when there's lots of Age of Empires 3 to watch.
But yes, I think I'm gonna bring the stream down now. I mean, what else do we have to do?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we've done our due diligence. We've done what we needed to do. And it's time to go back to work, school, wherever you are headed for this upcoming Monday. And we shall all rejoin back on the Age of Empires 3 streams come next weekend. And tune in for some round of, 16 action is where we'll be at that point.
Yep, that's true. And if you'd like to see any of these games again, or if you haven't seen them, they will be available on the ESOCTV channel below, or on my YouTube channel if I casted them. Do check that out. Yes, do subscribe to those channels. That'll be the access to the VODs. I think though. Oh, also my speedrun. I wanted to mention that I am going to speedrun the campaign soon, sometime. So follow my Twitch channel and be vigilant. I don't exactly know when, but I want to set a time. And then I think H2O is probably going to try and beat me, so we'll see what happens with that. But yes, that'll be on YouTube, that run as well. That does conclude me for today. Yeah, no more games. We are now finished. I did explain what happened to some of the games there. But yes, any last words, Zuta?
That's all I got. I'm out of words for
Go back
this
to your
Sunday.
ice cream.
Go back to my. No, my ice cream's done. You may have noticed I was eating it during our first game. I actually got a really bad brain freeze and like couldn't concentrate during that first game. So it's a good thing it dropped because like it was a bit out of my element, like trying to get over this brain freeze that I had. But I recovered nicely heading into the remake, and I recovered well.
Yeah. Vinox says Act 1 speedrun now. No, it's a bit late. It's like 1 a.m. But yes. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will see you again for Saturday SmackDown next week. And I will certainly be here for tournament games. And Zuta might be, though I think we may have different casters. I'm not sure. I have no idea who's going to be casting next week. I might not even be casting next week, though I very much would like to be casting next week. Absolutely. We'll see you all again